we aren't taking an honest look at where we are today until we look at where we were, like where we have come from and how we've kind of worked to dismantle some of these thoughts from a cultural standpoint, from an individual standpoint, how we view our bodies, how we view transformation, and how we view weight loss in general. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Rachel, and I hope you liked that intro because she fought hard for that one. She'll die on that hill.
Because I do what I want.
And she does what she wants. I hate that intro. I hate hello, and I'm just saying. But apparently,
see, this is a really good callback to, like, you don't get to control other people.
That's my newsflash for today. Still working on that. And I don't fully believe it.
True story. I don't fully believe it. No,
I'm going to be honest.
You get to control you, and the more that everyone realizes that, the better you are in this world, because you don't get to control other people. They get to make their own decisions. They get to live with them. That's the whole idea. That's why you don't get to wake up in their lives every day. Like,
what if they try starting a podcast with hello? What then? Is that we're allowing that to just slide on by?
Then you get to do what you want when you greet people. You could say, "Hey, motherfuckers," if you want to. Like, I don't care.
All right. Well, then if that's the trade-off, then I will take it because that works for me. So I'm here for it. Hey, guess what? Oh my God, you're so stupid right now. You are so cozy season, and it's you just like wait. Put the coffee cup back.
Listen, my coffee cup says "Hello, gorgeous," and I bought it for myself.
Okay, you're in your shacket. You've got you're holding your mug like this. It's a very important distinction. In the no, you gotta cup it like that. That means cozy season. If it's summer, you just hold it like this.
No, really.
You're fucking you're out there.
It's more like whiskey.
Yeah. Maybe whiskey, maybe coffee. We don't know. Maybe both.
I'm subconscious about price tags. Like, why am I like this?
The cupping means it's cozy season. You have your shacket on. I just want to point out
my nails are also right in line with the whole vibe. Yeah, because it's cozy season.
Well,
in South Florida.
Wait. I just got this candle in.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and
have you seen the scene from Billy Madison where it's like, I got you everything. Actually, I got the shirt from Frank. That was cozy season for me. It's cozy season. Look at this candle. It says cozy season.
Well, you said it, so I was like, oh, I'm very literal.
Do you like it?
This okay. I have a thing to say about this, but so this is the Chobani pumpkin spice iced coffee. If you haven't tried it. Maybe it's a chemical shitstorm, but let me live a little, okay?
Yeah, you make your choices.
It's once a year. And okay, is that everything? That's everything. Okay, we get shackets, we're cupping our mugs, we have candles, and we have coffee creamer. But I'm having a hard time. I think South Florida is getting to me. I'm like lighting up my I'm lighting up my candles and like looking outside at 80 degrees palm trees, and I'm like, this feels a little weird.
See, I honestly feel like I'm in the opposite direction, because like I feel like I can embrace cozy season even though the weather hasn't dropped. It's a really weird thing, and I think that you'll get there because you know that the natives here, they're restless. Do winter, like they get like boots, and I'm like, we get the boots for the snow, right?
It's not a fashion statement. We literally are trudging through sleet and snow. It's like
don't tell them that.
Oh my God.
Because they get the boots and you're like, Well, there's a purpose for the boots. Like, we're not just like loving boots. Like, I like my peetsies, my toesies to be free in their sandals.
Yeah.
But
Free the
but
toes.
free the toes. Just not on the internet. Y'all weirdos.
You weirdo.
But I feel like I don't know. I think after a particularly warm summer here, I am like the weather, the temperatures are dropping here in South Florida. We have a cold
Below
front
90.
coming. Yeah, we have a cold front coming that's around like 70s.
I'll light it up then. I think that's when I'll be ready.
And I'm like, oh, fall.
Yeah, it's fall, y'all. You guys, if you don't already know, shackets are out. Oh my god,
I love a jacket.
so cozy. So, like
You know what I did though? I wore it with a bra.
Oh, I love that. That's so South Florida.
That's what I mean. You can just I don't know if that's a thing, but I'm mixing them together.
I love
I don't
the
actually
weight.
feel cold.
Well, yeah, just it's not a necessity. It's like the boots. It's not. I'm not doing this for necessity anymore. I'm doing this because I freaking am hot girl. Fall, and the shackets are so soft. The perfect weight. We've got lots of new colors this year, so if you haven't already, get on the site and check out the shackets because you need one. You want one. It's the perfect transition before some of us have to transfer over to the winter coats, but I won't be doing that this year.
I was like, are you the some of us?
No, my God. Well, I do go back, but I don't know. Mostly I just sweatshirt it because I'm not going to buy a coat. Like you traveling with a coat.
Is
oh
tough.
My God. It's the most. All right. So in the spirit of shackets being out on the site, cozy season candles, I have some spooky vibe questions for you. Are you down? I didn't tell you before, but
spooky vibe questions.
It's gonna be fun. It's just fun. It's just fun,
she says.
Will you? Okay. All right. We could do cozy or cringe.
Okay.
Or we could do a cauldron of questions. What do you like? One's more spooky themed and one's more like pumpkin spice everything.
Mix it up.
All right. The first question from the cauldron of questions. If you had to be haunted by a ghost for the rest of your life, but you could choose who the ghost was, who's it going to be?
Listen, my initial thought is like wildly inappropriate, so I'm gonna say it anyway, though, because like his ending was not good, and like I totally acknowledge that. But like Michael Jackson, if he was just like going by me, being like, "Hee-hoo," you know what I mean? Like, and just like kind of like moonwalking on by, I'd be like, "This freaking guy." But no, that was just the initial thought because. Don't like if he just starts being like, I'm like, oh man, I'm ready to go.
Well, I mean, that would be living life in a musical, which I have always dreamed of, but
true. I was just practicing like me getting out of bed and being like,
that's the way you want to wake up every day. That's on you. That is on you. Okay. Cauldron of questions number 2.
Wait, who am I really going to be haunted by?
Oh, I thought you.
Who are you going to be haunted by?
Oh, mine's so also cringe, but like in the opposite way.
Who?
Well, does it have to be a person that is dead now?
Well, that's what I was picturing it.
Oh, well, I went to someone
wishing their death, and then
I went.
Haunt me.
I went to someone that's alive, but like if they die, I would want them still around.
Well, that's what I did. One.
Yeah.
Well, they gotta be dead.
It's you, Mom.
I know, that was mine immediately. Obviously, I'm like,
Mom, you can haunt me forever. Can I give you a roommate, but it has to be a Halloween villain? Who do you want to live with? Halloween villain has to be your roommate. Who would you just get along swimmingly with?
Maleficent.
Let's go.
You like me and her can be good roommates.
Let's go. That's a great answer.
That's a great answer.
That's a great answer.
Who's yours? Now you've had more time to think about it.
Well, I
I like my knee jerkers though.
Well, that's why I don't tell you things in advance. Because I think I don't think I thought of this one, but I'm gonna go with Ursula.
Ursula had ran through my. That's what I do. That's what I live for. She and her vibe is. I think it matches my vibe. Maybe it would be too much of that vibe. Maybe I should pick someone, because roommates sometimes you want to be more complimentary and not. I don't know. I will tell you what. I have quoted Ursula today. This morning, I walked into my son's room and I said, "My dear, sweet child, that's what I do."
Listen, you never do know when Ursula might just come out the mouth. Your child it's good. It's good to raise a child on movie quotes because it's just part of the everyday conversation. All right, so. You have to eat only one fall food forever.
Fall food?
Pumpkin pie or apple cider donuts.
Apple cider donuts.
Okay, same. I still am disgusted by the idea. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? Like you could always kind of like a little.
I'll tell you what. I participate in pumpkin spice season, but I'm also happy to see it end because like those, like that nutmeg, like that spiciness, like
that
there's only so much. Well, it's fine to be a theme. I love a theme, but like if you told me I had to eat that all year round, I would jump off a cliff. Where do you die in a horror movie? The beginning or the end? Are you the last person standing? Or are you like the first one out? Jeez, you didn't see that coming.
I feel that I'm the last one standing, but I don't want to watch all my friends die either. But I do feel like I'm the last one standing. I can smell the spooky.
Is it your running speed you feel that gets you?
I'm also pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to say last, but there's no way because I run like some kind of wounded animal. It's like, and that's my real attempt. Like I'm not wounded. Like, you know how they always get their like, oh, I've hurt my leg. And then they have to like drag it along through the woods. And no, but that's just my running regular.
So the person dragging their legs can outrun you.
I don't think I make it to the end. No, I don't. And I also think probably you're like that. You're like the comic relief, character. Like you like pop in.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the horror movies, like that character that's always popping in and being like,
you keep it going.
All right. Last but not least, couples costumes. Cringe or awesome?
Awesome. I'm here for couples costumes.
Well, this is where we differ.
You've done couples costumes though. So if we had actually looked back, and we're going to rewind this footage, Amy, and we're going to say Kelsey's last year costumes, not a couples costume. Rachel has done couples costumes.
Okay, but I know it's the lamest shit ever when I'm doing it.
Yeah, but I feel like sometimes, like, when you have kids,
I'm doing it for my kid.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm the lamest person on the planet for doing a couple's costume. But my son is like, oh my God, we're all a theme.
We have matching pajamas right now that started well over a month before Halloween.
Ooh, yeah, wow.
And everyone wears them at least once a week.
Let's go.
And we're getting the most use out of them. But my 3-year-old was hell bent on having matching things. And I was like, well, if we're going to spend the money on it, we might as well get our use out of it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how you guys are sleeping in long sleeves and pants, but
We go walking around the neighborhood for our nighttime walk in a bunch of spooky pajamas.
Yes. All right. If you were in my neighborhood, I'd clap as you went by. You either love spooky season or you don't. You're either all in or you're not.
We're all in. We went chips all in.
All right. Well, that's my spooky segment. So, thanks for playing.
Bam, love it. Should we tell the people what we're going to talk about today?
So, you guys, if you didn't hear our last episode, there was a big documentary that was released on Netflix, and everybody was talking about it. It was sort of a look back at our time in reality TV and weight loss. And it chronicled The Biggest Loser and all of the sort of lasting effects that we had on our society, and some of the things that we look back on and really feel we did a disservice to some of the contestants, the coaches, the methods that were used. The documentary was very interesting. I think that we both enjoyed it. However, we wanted to do a follow-up episode because we talked a lot about kind of what was going on then in the world during The Biggest Loser. And I think that the really important thing is how diet culture has changed and how viewing weight loss has changed, if it's changed enough. So we want to look at the now and where we have come since The Biggest Loser aired. Now we're in 2025. Have we made notable progress in the area of obesity, weight loss, how we view bodies that are different? Yeah, it's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years since the air of The Biggest Loser, and I think some of the recap from what we talked about last week is that it did have a mixture of takeaways that certain people viewing felt, whether it was a mixture of inspirational or, when you were watching it, you got that kind of like hard work vibe, and there were some other threads that ran through the general theme of The Biggest Loser, and I think some of them had some merit to them, and some of them were extremely harmful. And I think it's important that knowing that we all lived through those times, how does that affect your view on diet culture today? How has it changed? How are we working to continue change it? But we aren't taking an honest look at where we are today until we look at where we were, like where we have come from and how we've kind of worked to dismantle some of these thoughts from a cultural standpoint, from an individual standpoint, how we view our bodies, how we view transformation, and how we view weight loss in general. And I think it's a really important topic for those of us to look internally and think about how that time frame, whether you're going to categorize it as The Biggest Loser or if you're going to categorize that 20-year period or that 10, it ran for 10 years?
Yeah.
That a little over 10 years,
17
period.
Seasons. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, wow. And because whether you watched it or not, the cultural impacts had an impact on you within diet culture. So knowing that, and knowing that either if we still continue to struggle with our body images, or we continue to struggle with weight loss, quote unquote, recategorizing that into fat loss and recategorizing that into health, and how we kind of use that language. And I think one of the things that had come to the forefront for me is we aren't, the celebration of the scale is real. It's out. But where do we go? Because we would like to, I think a lot of people want to know, how do you acknowledge the fact that someone is investing in their health and they're investing in changes in their life that impact them in a positive way. And that might include weight loss, that might include just, for a lot of people, that will include weight loss for them. And how do we acknowledge the work that they're putting in, and how do we acknowledge the effort without focusing on the scale? And I think that's really been a challenging thing. And I'm not coming in with the answer to that. I think it's an important discussion to have, and I think it differs on an individual level. And obviously you can weigh in on that. But I do think it's really challenging for some of us to say, like, I want to acknowledge that someone in my life has really put health to the forefront, and that looks like weight loss for them. But I don't want to say, wow, it looks like you've lost a lot of weight, because it's the same shit.
It's the same shit. And we, you know, I think that when The Biggest Loser first aired, being told that you had lost weight was the ultimate compliment for anyone in any body. That was what, we were seeking, we were hoping for, and it could make or break your day. Someone saying like, "Oh, have you lost weight?" I don't think we are quite far enough from that as I would like. But one thing that I will say regarding how do we acknowledge people who are trying to make notable changes in their life without engaging in this toxic culture, honestly, if someone has the answer, I would like to know, because I struggle with this on a daily basis.
Me too. That's why I said, like, I'm not coming in with the answer, because I really struggle with it, because I'm someone who very much likes to acknowledge when people are putting an effort into something, and then I see that, and I want them to know that I see them. But I don't have language for it. And I'm like, I don't know.
I'll say a couple things that I have used in the past, that I don't know whether or not, because, like how it lands and how the person takes it is like, everything is just perception. But so this is from my end. I have said things like, "You look like you're taking more time for yourself." I don't know if that is well received or not. Like, well, was I not taking time for myself before? I don't know. It just,
and like, there's a like layer. I don't want to be the person that says like there's a negative way to take everything, but like sometimes in the, like, especially like mom world, it like,
oh, that's
comes
true.
into this like, oh, does that mean I'm not putting
That's
time for
true.
my kids? Like, it
Yeah, I
just like
probably
has
wouldn't say
this
that. I
like,
probably wouldn't say that to a young mom. I've said this to a middle aged older. She has grown kids, like they're off in college and stuff. But yeah,
do you know what
even
I mean? Like, you kind of
even
go
the
like, oh, am
nuances.
I
Yeah.
selfish? Like, is she calling me selfish? Like,
Oh
like,
my God.
you
See,
kind of get this weird, which is also a weird thing. I totally get that, but like in the general like conversation, sometimes I know that there's a woman in my community, and I have the benefit of being able to see her running and like she runs with a stroller. So, and she has definitely put health in as a forefront for her life, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but she's definitely lost a significant amount of weight. And I was like, how do I kind of like try to acknowledge this thing? So I was like, I see you out running and walking all the time, like, that's so awesome, like, amazing work, like, because it
yes.
seems like you enjoy that, and like, I see you working hard. So that was like kind of the way that I tried to like frame
No,
it.
that's perfect. I always want to compliment the exercise more than I want to compliment the aesthetic. So like I'm always looking for ways to be like, "Oh my gosh, you look so much stronger," or "Are you PRing at the gym?" But it's just like in some of the interactions, you don't know enough about the person to like know. So it's and just I don't know if it's like, "Hey, you look like you've really been getting more activity." Like I don't know if that's just, well, what did I look like before? I don't know. It's just
I know.
it's a really hard thing to compliment a woman.
It's so hard to compliment a woman.
The end.
It's so hard to receive compliments. So
Oh my
like,
God.
so
It's
we
so true.
the the standard that I've hit is just kind of like we're overall complimenting effort as much as we possibly can.
Effort.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but I do think that um, just looking at the then and now, that there was this obsession with this extreme makeovers was kind of like the overall. There was this time where we had this like extreme makeovers, and of course men were involved, but of course men were involved. But it really, if you look at like where the majority of time is spent, so it's making over physical appearances for women, is a lot of, and most women are listening to, so maybe a lot of men were affected too, but here we are, we're talking to a group of women. So I think that when we really break it down, when we break down the extreme makeovers, the diet books, the fitness DVDs, the fad diets, the promising fast results, losing weight quickly and celebrated no matter what, was the big theme of the early 2000s culture. And when we fast forward to now, we kind of look at like how have some of those changed, and if you heard me rattle off some of those, you're hearing that some of those have not changed. They're still left, but a lot of those have changed. We've shifted more towards a conversation of strength, stability, sustainability, mental health being at the forefront. That the transformation is not about the number on a scale, and I think that a lot of people have done a wonderful job of getting really personal with how they're sharing some of their kind of like transformations. I know in our Facebook group, which just got renamed, it's Stronger Together, if you didn't know. But, we at the evolution of this, we kind of struggled with those kind of like before and after ideas, because this after is like you didn't die, you're
You
we're
didn't die.
ongoing. So kind of the then and now, and something that's taken shape for our group and our community is beautiful then, beautiful now. You are an amazing human regardless of what you physically look like, but of course there are some changes that we want to celebrate when you have put effort into creating a more sustainable, healthy lifestyle for you. And what does that look like? And we've kind of recategorized that with the energy that you have on a daily basis, the resilience, the quality of life, because all of those things are like, when you say them out loud, the fact that we ever put the number on the scale at the highest point sounds silly to me. Your quality of life, your resilience, your energy, like all of these things we were willing to sacrifice. This is the truth. We were willing to sacrifice each one of those things for a number on a scale. Because your quality of life would be significantly decreased when you're just in this like caloric deficit. You'd have no energy. Resilience, come on now. We were willing to essentially move towards dying earlier in the name of a number on a scale.
It's there's I think there's two notable things that you mentioned there that I feel really good about moving forward since the time that The Biggest Loser aired. Not only do we see less emphasis on the sheer number on the scale, and I know this by the fact that scales that do nothing but weigh you are so out. Now this is a caveat because they are wildly inaccurate and this is shown in many studies, but the scales that are selling now are showing or claiming to show body composition with accounting for muscle mass and accounting for like more like an in-body scan, which they're not going to give you all the things that you're hoping for there, but just by those being the popular option, you know that people have an awareness that it's not just about a number on a scale. It's about body composition in general. That's a good thing. That's a good move forward. And then the other thing that I think is a really good positive thing that we've taken since then is that extreme, what we wanted from Biggest Loser contestants is to see the most weight loss in the shortest amount of time. So we wanted to see people get up on that scale and weigh in and have lost double digits since just being weighed 6 days before. And we were calling that success. Wow, he must have worked so hard this week, or she must have worked so hard this week. to get those unbelievable numbers. And now I think, especially since, the study done on those contestants about what that can possibly do to your metabolism, I think that people are much more likely to get in bed with the slow and steady game rather than these drastic, I'm hoping to lose 20 pounds in 20 days type of thing. I think that that is kind of had its time, and I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist, because it absolutely does. When major events are coming up, we see people, but for the average everyday kind of person who's looking to lose body fat, I think that if you ask them what is the best way, slow and steady or really really fast all at once, I think that they most people will answer slow and steady. And I think that that's a big shift from where we were then. So I think that's really positive.
I think that's a great point of like if you ask the average person. Um, but I want to give a call to like kind of how we changed this, because I really feel like it's been done on the ground level, with, we don't have a lot of opportunity to give a positive call to social media. And this is one that is the call to social media, because if we left it up to what the series would do, which one they would have next, they would probably have biggest loser like by now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we on a ground level have really changed this, and you can see this with, people posting just to kind of dismantle the view about specifically weight, looking at body composition at the same weight, and having this is what I weighed at this point, and this is what my body composition looked like, and this is what I weigh now, and this is what my body composition looked like. And often, it's a more desirable body composition for that person at potentially a heavier weight, or the same weight sometimes. And that just goes with, your metabolic shift, how much muscle you're carrying. Body composition is definitely not conducive to this weight, narrative, that weight is the most important thing. Because if you think about what was happening at this time too, heroin chic, um ugh, I get, like, when that comes out, the fact that that was an actual trend makes me want to vomit. But like, that's not the aesthetic anymore. We're not looking to look like a drug addict.
All right, everybody, great job. Let's just have a slow clap for society not wanting to look like drug addicts. All right.
But
Really
right.
done the thing, guys.
But
Together.
like the modern lens really is looking at like the scientific research behind what was then being this, like, what we can see now is slowing down your metabolism for this extreme weight loss, unsustainable results when you see all of these contestants come back and they have either regained, the same weight that they lost or more, which is very very common with, quick fad diets. This isn't, isolated to the biggest loser. This is very, like, across the board for anyone who diets for specific events in a really unhealthy way, rather than, like you said, that shift towards long sustainable results. And the thing that I think has been the major adjustment there is the switch towards strength training, because strength training is you can't cheat it no matter what. It is a slow love hate for some of us relationship with strength training that you really can't fake, because you can't fake the number, that's on the bar. You can't just like do a cleanse and then all of a sudden you can lift 20 pounds more. It doesn't work like that. So
Tried
this
it.
shift this shift towards strength training and mental health, body positivity, intuitive eating has really been done by people sharing by sharing themselves strength training, and kind of shifting the idea of like, this is how we lose weight, this is how we work towards a healthy lifestyle in the most unhealthy ways possible, rather than here are some of the healthy habits that I've developed on a daily basis, and this takes time, but guess what, it's going to be so fucking worth it.
Hey, you. Thanks for getting in touch with the Thick Thighs Save Lives podcast.
We love your questions and adore hearing from you.
Leave us a hello,
A burning question,
feedback.
or anything else you want to share with us on the podcast.
We will play your message live on air if we can.
Thanks for being an amazing friend. Stay safe and moving.
One of the things that I really like about the shift from entertainment and inspiration and connection being through TV and switching more to social media is that people have more control over the way that they're portrayed. And I, for one, am here for that, because when we had producers that were in charge of the way a person was characterized on a show, whether they were the villain or whether they were, on The Biggest Loser, they had a lot of, yelling at people for being lazy and not working as hard as others. And the fact is, we know that that was all for ratings. You have to have certain rules that people are playing. That's an expected part of like watching a TV show. And I really like the amount of control that influencers have now over their portrayal. They get to decide what they share. And I know that that has its drawbacks, because now we're just watching highlight reels and we don't feel like it's, as maybe as relatable. But even that has shifted to people sharing hard moments on socials and less than flattering things and saying like, hey, I'm here with you guys. I'm here in the trenches, but I get to decide what I share. I'm not being edited in a way that makes me look like a person that I don't feel like I am. And I really, I felt for the contestants when they were giving their interviews post Biggest Loser and just saying like, they were so embarrassed at times of the way they were portrayed. They had to, take off their shirt every single time they went to weigh in, which many of them did not feel comfortable doing. And now it's like, when you're in charge of your own portrayal, you take off your shirt when you want to, and you're in charge. And I love that for people who are sharing their journey and using their platform to inspire others, that they can really control their narrative and how they're seen and put out the truest version, of themselves without any interference from producers and, a storyline.
Yeah, you hit it right on. I feel like that has been one of the biggest strengths from social media, and we can control who we follow too. And it's not that you couldn't control what you were watching, but you can't control on what they were going to put out. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, there are no body positive contestants, or there's no body positive shows or something, so you don't have the opportunity to watch that. But with social media, there's a lot of people bravely sharing their story, and you have the opportunity to find them and to follow along with their story, and to take for a grain of salt. Sometimes it is the highlight reel, and sometimes it is skewed versions of a relationship or a journey or whatever it is. And we can all like decide and agree on like, I will follow this person, or I will follow this person, because there's another person out there who's willing to share their story, and maybe that connects more with me, but it isn't in control of like the machine, is kind of how I feel. Where like it doesn't get ratings, like you're out of here.
Well, like you can speak to this better than most people can, because you actually did appear on a show. And you were, put in the interview room with producers, like feeding you certain things that they wanted you to say in a way that they wanted to portray you. And I remember you calling me and being like, this is such bullshit. They are trying to make me say things, and I know what they're trying to do because I know how they want to portray me. And like, I'm like refusing to participate, which is probably why you won't be asked on any future shows.
Well, I think that's why I had such a hard target on that show was it didn't fit the narrative to keep me on. At that time, I actually had two different producers have to come in and speak to me about the things I was essentially unwilling to say. Because they, Hollywood's wild, man. Like,
Wild.
they are very manipulative and will come in. And I I don't know why I was the villain, but if you look at the episode that I was on, you can see why. Like, there was like a southern, like, really, really nice, like, just like the picture of like Southern
Georgia
Christian.
Peach?
Yeah, like, she was wonderful. And then there was like I'm just a mom of two. Like, she was like, and then there was me, like, weightlifting girl from
She's
Boston.
mean.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
had, like, if you were, I was like, oh, I was paired up with those two. Clearly, that was my role. And it was very much to say, like, to even go against my partner at the time of things that they wanted me to say. And I was like, I'm not doing that. But listen, if I was fame hungry or really wanted to, and you see with these contestants, they needed to stay on the show no matter what. And they if you watch the documentary, like, they are very open about that. They were willing to do anything to stay on the show. I mean, you can just see from the seasons that what they were put through. They were willing
In the
to
case
do,
of The Biggest Loser, with the backdrop of Air Bunnies now, to save their life. They needed to stay on the show, quote unquote, to save their life. They believe truly that they were in a life or death situation with staying or going home.
absolutely. And like, I wasn't in that situation. I kind of could have cared less. I was like there for the free trip to LA.
Never been to California before.
I was like, oh, we have to film while we're there. Like, it wasn't on the top of my radar to do whatever needed to be done to stay on the show, and I really didn't care if I got kicked off. But,
And you did.
and I did. So Hollywood won? I don't know. But, if they could have picked up a bunch of sound bites, and they lead you in those questions too. They say, like, well, you could do anything better than him, right? Like, they want you to say, they even to just repeat it back in the room with the mic so that they could pull just that piece out to portray you in any way. Maybe put some horns on.
It's not, but listen, we didn't always know what we were getting into with reality TV. We thought at the time The Biggest Loser aired and a lot of these other shows, we thought that reality TV meant watching reality. Like, we did not, I don't think as a society, we did not understand the heavy editing, the characterization, the extreme measures that were being taken to get ratings. So I think, just like social media now, we take everything with a grain of salt. That, yes, that's probably the highlight reel. Yes, that's probably heavily edited to make this person seem this way. But then we didn't. And I think that was really damaging to some of the people portrayed. And I will even say, the coaches feel that they were wrongfully portrayed sometimes. So, just keeping in mind that it's a show and that it was designed for ratings. And I like the fact that more people get to influence and be inspirational in their own terms now, because I think that everybody deserves to be able to put themselves out the way they want it. Last but not least, I did want to talk about, so we had a lot of contestants come back and give their feelings on the documentary. We saw a former winner who has gotten to his heaviest weight yet. He is now heavier than he was when he appeared on the show to start. Then we saw some people, talking about how they really struggled after the show, and now they're using GLP-1s and weight loss aids, and that's really been a success for them. We have seen the full end of the spectrum here. And I think that one of the things that I don't think we have lost since the show has aired is that smaller bodies receive more praise than larger bodies. We're still there 20 years later.
I know. And I do think that we are still there in a lot of language that we use with how we think about someone who works really hard or someone who's lazy or someone who is motivated and someone who's not. And like you just don't um we can't seem to get out there with the overall language that thin does not equal health. And I just, it's such a hard thing because like I feel so strongly about it to full stop. And I know at my thinnest, I was I was not even close to the healthiest that I have been in my life. Um, so it's such a weird thing that we just continue to praise that even when we have context. So the thing is that gets me is that even when we have context behind, someone struggling or going through major life events, a death, a divorce, a move, a birth of a child, like, things like that, where like they can, you can point to these things are really stressful, and you see someone lose a significant amount of weight, you still praise them for the weight that they lost, even under context. Like, I have heard this in circles that I'm in when you're talking about someone who is struggling with a life event, and then you say, well, she's lost a ton of weight. It's like, I'm sorry, that sounds horrible. And if we could just move it in the context of like that person is sick, that's being sick. Like people who also are undergoing chemotherapy lose a bunch of weight.
I think the contestants coming back and having some of them having continued struggles with keeping weight off and fat loss and staying at a more healthy body composition for them. I think that the go-to snap reaction is like, well, you didn't try hard enough.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You didn't try. We're going back to the labels of lazy, not motivated. When you don't have Jillian Michaels screaming in your face, like you just can't get it done. And I think that continuing to push the narrative that these people were waking up 800 calories in the hole from someone of their same size is like, we have to talk about the way our body is functioning metabolically before we introduce anything about lifestyle, laziness, motivation, what you're eating. Like these are real things. We have to go down to a scientific level with the way our body is functioning. And we have to stop pinning it all on, well, can't you just say no to that donut?
I feel a little bit, and I want this to come out at the end, like as we are doing better now, but I feel a little bit disheartened at this language continuing to live on because it's so wildly inaccurate, it's so harmful, and it just removes empathy that we can feel for each other in our individual struggle of seeing a person without just seeing what their weight is or what you're perceived to be their hard work or like the type of integrity that they carry, and assigning those attributes to someone based on their physical appearance is so wildly inaccurate and false, damaging, that I just feel like how do we change this? Because I feel like I'm yelling at like from the top of a mountain. Like, how do we really change this? Because like we are continuing, and what I feel right now is removing empathy from seeing each other. And I don't, that's like a blanket statement, but like, because in some spaces I feel like it's going great. I feel like it's going great. We're doing a great job understanding and empathizing with each other and struggles, and how we can like help and come together. And I feel like in other circles we've stopped seeing the humanity and the struggles on an individual basis that people are experiencing. And I feel like if there's one thing that we can take away from the Biggest Loser era, is that looking back at that, now that we know better, we need to do better. So we can look at what the cultural impacts of the threads that went through The Biggest Loser, what those were implied to someone's character. And we can know better and do better and realize that we all have scars from that time period that maybe impact how you think about your own body, about your own worth when you're looking in the mirror, whether you've decided, are you working hard enough right now? Are you good enough right now? And does that coincide with your physical appearance? Like your physical appearance is honestly the least interesting thing about you. And until you truly believe that and your worth is not tied to that, I'm this right now. I'm not the fittest, not even close. Probably on the other end, one of the least fit that I've ever been, but in no way, shape, or form would I tie that to I am lazier now. Like, I don't feel that way at all. You couldn't convince me of that. I am trying really, really hard and working really hard at other things that I feel like are important in this season. And that's not going to be reflected in what my body is or even how my body is performing.
And what a important thing to be, you are experiencing that in a smaller body, and that is an extreme privilege because, when we look back at these contestants, every single one of them points to either struggling with their weight their entire life, which is highly genetic, or having a major trauma that like lead and like you said, like the empathy needs to be there, but not only that, but just changing that entire narrative of that we can tell anything moral about a human being by the way that they aesthetically look is just, it's out in 2025. It is out. We're leaving it behind. I don't know how we like stamp it out and like kick the door and like lock it, double lock. But whether or not someone is carrying too much body fat says absolutely nothing about their character. It simply is a snapshot of where they are at right now with their priorities. And that is not to say, and I think that this is something we have to keep on coming back to, that is not to say that we aren't working on our health, right? Someone's in a larger body, all of a sudden the conversation becomes, well, don't they care about their health? And I think that is, one of the things that we are still dealing with from The Biggest Loser is
100%,
like weight loss at all costs.
100%. I mean, you think about a lot of those people that are in larger bodies, and I can say for absolute certainty that a lot of people that I know who are in larger bodies would run circles around, from a health perspective, people who are in a smaller body. Like, it's not the snapshot there you couldn't get from looking at them. But like, I can tell you, like, she's going to beat you in a 5K. Like, and like, it lives in a larger body, but she is one of the fittest people, and this is what fitness looks like on her body, because you cannot tell fitness from your outside snapshot. You can't also tell what someone's mental health is doing from an outside snapshot. You can't tell where someone's energy levels, like, you cannot tell these things. And I know you want to, because like we're so deep in this, like, visually, like, this is what I can get from people, but you can't tell. You actually have to talk to each other. Like, you actually have to figure out, when you see someone who, you're not sure, you're trying to get the gauge, you have to ask them, how are you really doing? And I think the more that we ask those, and I did want to, leave you guys with how you think, The Biggest Loser has impacted your view on your body, and what's changing now. Like, let us know, and what do we want to leave to the next generation? But what do you guys think the answer is to kind of keep pushing this forward? Because the only way it's gotten this far as it is by people like you guys tuning into this podcast, talking, sharing your stories, encouraging each other, and changing the narrative of where we are now. Because a lot of millennial women, like, you've done it. Like, Damn girls.
We've done a lot of work.
You've done it. And we're still trying to figure out like how we can change it for the next generation, how we can kind of shield our littles from, I'm gonna say it for what it is, boomers, from how you guys talk about your bodies and weight loss and how you talk about the littles' bodies. And you're, come with us. Hear the language because in my view a lot of us are really trying to shield our next generation for things that we know are harmful to us, and we're no longer doing that where we're looking in the mirror and talking shit about our bodies. We're no longer doing that. We're no longer equating morality to what you had to eat today.
That's the world I want to raise the daughters in. That's the and the sons and the sons.
And the sons.
I am so into that. I would love to hear from you guys in the comments about, the impact of this show on you and where you feel like you are today. Have you come as far as you want to? Do you feel like, stuff like that did sort of lasting damage to your views on weight and fat loss? I love keeping the conversation open. So this has been very eye-opening.
All right, guys, have an amazing week. We can't wait to hear from you, and we love you.